Hooray! The intro worked. Hello,
Woohoo!
I'm Isaac Anderson, the host of All Caps Book Chat. I'm the author of A Song of Bones in the Garden Maze. I'm joined by Mike Mollman,
Woohoo!
J.A. Bryden,
Yay.
and Jesse
Woo.
James Fain. These guys are indie authors extraordinaire. Mike is the author of such wonders as Becoming a Druid and The Haley Traveler. That's the one I read. Beautiful.
And
That's
Proxima
Proxima Station. J.A. is the author of such things as Letters from the Emu War. And what's the newest thing you came out with? Was it Anora?
Ancora.
No. Ancora came.
Ancora.
Ancora's been out a year. That's my latest one. The Boy Who Slayed the Gargoyle.
The Boy Who Slayed the Gargoyle. Yeah, I think last time you were on the show, we talked about Ancora specifically, if I remember correctly. And then
I've
Jesse James
got a
Fain.
prequel since then. So.
We have to do another show. And Jesse James Fain, author of such things as you were in another anthology, weren't you? Tales from the Trailer Park?
Yeah, so it came from the Trailer Park Double Wide. I actually authored and edited that one. And then I've done, not really. That's Hillbilly's thing, William Joseph Roberts, but I got to help a lot, which was nice. And then I've got like 9 different anthos. So there's a ton of short story content. My first long form is called Gravesinger. It starts as a universe called Midnight Sea. And the Kickstarter's already done. Late pledges are open, but it should be out within the next month.
Awesome. Well, it's so great to have you guys on the podcast today. For those who do not know, we're talking about Robushi's anthology, Rings of Adventure, and the theme of the night is rings and different kinds of rings. So we've all written short stories centered around rings in some way. So I'm wondering, how did you guys tackle that? Like, did you go for a literal ring? Did you go for more of an abstract kind of thing? Let's go in a circle here. So Mike, I think you have kind of like a magic Bilbo ring kind of thing going on.
So it's actually a monocle, but they break the glass and then they use it as a ring for the rest of the thing. And then they have the glass that actually lets you see through rock, and the ring lets you walk through it, and it becomes 2 different things.
Okay.
So I have lots of dwarves.
I like dwarves. So when you're looking through it, it's one thing, and when you put it on, it's a different thing.
So it actually hits the ground and breaks. The glass breaks in like 3 pieces. So then they hold like the 3 pieces in their eye, like that, and then they have the outside of the monocle that one puts on, and then they accidentally swing their hand and it goes into the mountain. They're like, "Hey, that was weird," and then they realize they can walk through the mountain.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah,
Jesse, what about you?
So I did not do a little ring at all. Mike and Ro looked at me and said, "Hey, do you want to be part of the antho?" And they told me the theme. And the first thing I said was, "Has anybody done tinnitus?" And so that's
nice.
So in my opinion, when you go adventuring, there's lots of things that will put a ring in your ear. If you get hit in the ear, if you fire a weapon without ear protection, if you get into a car crash, these things may or may not be hints on what happens in my story. So I focused heavily on sound, and I have a group of not so kind, not so good people that try to do good things. And there's a lot of ringing going on.
Nice.
Okay. Interesting. What about you, J.A.?
I just went with puns, man. I just went, I'm going to write a story, whatever. I'm just going to see how many times I can mention something about rings. So there's a phone ringing, Why don't you ring the guy, Oh, you can run rings around that guy. It's that's all I did.
And I love that your story is unapologetically Australian. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I read it. I was like, I don't know what that is, but you know what? I don't need to know. Keep on reading.
Well, that's what I do. I'm in there's 2 Australians in this anthology. I'm like, well, he's going to write fantasy. I know Kane's going to just go fantasy. I'm going to go, I'm Australian. I'm going to weird out everyone that reads. They're going to get to the page and go, what is this? That's my goal.
That's good. It's good to have variety in the anthology.
Yeah.
I'm going with tree rings in space.
Mm.
Since I've talked about it in other shows, I won't dive too deep into it in this show. So, when you guys sit down to do a short story, whether it's from a prompt, like it has to be involve rings in some way, or whether it's from your own imagination, how do you approach it as opposed to like a regular story with like seemingly unlimited space? Like short story, you're limited. So how do you work in that limitation? Let's start with Mike.
Pass. So it's actually, I wrote a short story for another anthology, which the prompt was relics, and it had to do with the people who had rings, and then like Rose was like, let's do this one, and the prompt's going to be rings. I'm like, I just wrote a story, damn it. So this one was, I don't know, it was a little, I was like, well. So I went with literal ring just because I was like, I don't know. I have to, like you said, you don't have much space, so I didn't want to do a lot of explaining to get there. I did not think of tendinitis, which is really upsetting now, because that is an awesome idea. But so I just went literal ring and went from there. I figured somebody posted like I could read 35 stories about a magical ring. I was like, well, I'll give you one. So
Cool. Jesse, what was your approach?
I'm very character driven, and I'm very like music inspired. So I've already talked about like how the initial idea for the story came about, but I actually have a group of characters that I've been writing as a hobbyist for a decade at least. They were the characters that I used for online role playing, like on the forums, very much like online D&D. And I absolutely love those characters. One of them is even published under my pen name. Like I have a whole story. Character's name is Auric, and Auric is already the star of his own story. And I wanted to introduce James in this one. So I give it from his point of view, and he's very like action hero kind of guy. He's huge. He's like 6'8". He's covered in scars, but he's also the most gentle of everyone around him. And so I really love playing with that character. In any short story, especially the size we did, every word, every sentence kind of has to have a purpose. But that's just practice. But really, the core concepts are always centered around music. My story is called "The Last in Line," and it's a Dio song. And the story is literally, if you know the lyrics to "The Last in Line," the story will make much more sense.
Okay, cool. J.A., what was your approach to a short story?
Yeah, well, I did a competition short story like a year ago, I think, or close, maybe like late last year, and it was 1,200 words. And I think that was a little practice for this one because I was like 1,200. I can't. What do I do with 1,200 words? I kind of had to sacrifice a lot. So when this one came along, I said, "Oh, 5,000 words, I can build a little more." So I had that practice. But this is like my first proper, short story, and I just
Gotcha.
It's hard because when I sit down to write a story, I don't know if it's going to be, how long it's going to be, how short it's going to be. Because when I wrote The Boy Who Slayed the Gargoyle, I went, novella, 25,000 words or whatever. And then I went, it's 12,000 words. I can't force myself to tweak and stuff.
For me, I counted the characters and the amount of problems. Or actually, because it's sci-fi, I also had like a number of ideas I wanted. So I really chose too many things. The first draft was very full, and it moved it was still slow. I wanted to write it in a slow pace, which I couldn't really afford. So that first draft, it took a little bit to get started.
Yeah.
So this second draft I'm working on, hitting the ground running, not wasting any kind of space. That first version I really liked because it was very atmospheric. It was very mysterious. But I'm not sure it's what people want from a short story. That was kind of the feedback I got. So, I had to focus on just a couple of. I've really 2 main ideas I'm exploring in the story, and I have 2 main characters, and I have 1 main character, and then 3 kind of more vignettes of characters, if that makes sense. That was my approach anyway. So when you guys are working on something like this with a bunch of people, and you see all the different names, you see all the different stories coming, all the art, what is that like? Because usually writing is a very solitary thing. It's not often that so many of us get together and work on something, in the same kind of project. So it's been really cool for me just to see everyone's pace, because some of you guys wrote your stories so dang fast, and they were great, and it took me forever to. So I'm seeing, okay, I maybe need to learn how to write a little bit faster, or maybe learn to I don't know, get my head out of the weeds, because I can overthink things, and it could take me a long time to write something down, because I got to think about it for a minute before I commit to actually typing anything. So what is it like for you guys to be in such a big group of writers and working on the same project?
I personally love it. Oh,
go for it,
Jesse. You started.
Yeah. So I personally love group projects when it comes to stuff like this, especially like Mike and Ro have done this fantastic job of who they assembled. And that makes a big difference. My big projects for me and the projects I've all done have all been anthologies. They're all group projects in a way. And my standalone opens up a big universe that I already have the stories from my friends, like that are in the author community. Like the Antho's already written to come right in behind my standalone novel. So this is kind of standard business for me. I really enjoy having someone who's also invested that you can bounce ideas off of. Um, your beta readers are built in, and your beta readers know what they're doing, and that's beautiful. Because the number one thing that held me back as a new author was being able to find beta readers in the genres that I like to write. So I had friends that loved to write, but they wanted to read and write a totally different. They were not action focused. They were not dark fantasy or gritty. This is a gritty assassin story. Like they didn't do anything like that. So having people that are professionals, that understand, that have written stuff like that, it's beautiful for me. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say that the one thing that surprised me is that, and I'll tell you, I did my story early because I suck if there's a hard deadline. I mean, I give myself deadlines, but I know if I break it, who cares? But if I have like an external deadline, I'm terrible because I sit there like I've written 4 words and it's been 12 minutes. I've written 4, and oh my God, I just watch the clock and I fritter away the time. So I was like, I'm going to start early so that I don't have to worry about a deadline because we gave everybody months. And I'm like, if I can't write a 5,000 word story in 3 months, then there are bigger issues. So, plus the nice thing about that is that a lot of people are like, oh my God, have you read these stories? They're so good. How am I going to write a story? And people are like second guessing themselves because they didn't start early. And like JCM Byrne, he turned his in really early. Katie Andrews also did hers pretty early. And they're 2 of the 3 biggest names probably in our anthology, and they're both great stories. And you're like, yeah, they're really good. And then people are like, oh my God, I have to up my game. And I swear there's a couple people may have dropped out because they're like, oh my God, look at the level. And I mean, you should never ever compare yourself because you're not writing that story, you're writing your story, and you'll have a different take, and that's fine. But there were people freaking out. One author absolutely is like, I'm not going to let anyone read it till I'm finished. I was like, well, that's a mistake because we have the stories for edit. You have 30 some odd people read your book who are writing, and they can give you constructive feedback. Like Jesse said, it's not just people who want to tell you you're wonderful. We interviewed one guy. He's like, well, my wife read it, I'm ready to publish. And I'm like, I mean, I read a few, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to be nicer when I give feedback now because no one's ever asked me a second time to give feedback. So, so yeah, I did mine early because I wanted to have it off my plate, and then it was nice because then when other people like the stories are so good who've turned it in, I'm like, I'm one of those. They didn't mention me by name, but I'm going to say that I'm one of those people. Although I haven't actually finished my story yet. Don't tell Ro.
Oh,
You still there, bro?
he might be. He might be. I've submitted mine, and it got good feedback. I mean, I asked for them to tear it apart. They didn't tear it apart, but they did. They did make a few tears. And that was, after I had a few minutes of which, I needed that feedback to make the story, better. So yeah, Rose is a little upset now. Yeah. But yeah, so but I get that fear of when, especially if you're like me, there's a little bit of you in all of your stories. So to have someone kind of, poke at that, it's kind of like they're poking at you a little bit too. So that could be uncomfortable. But just like all things, I mean, you gotta grow, and so for something to grow, you gotta poke it a little bit sometimes. That's just how it works. What about you, J.A.? How does it feel to be in such a
It's
community?
A spin out, like for me, because it's like I look at all these names, I'm going, you're all legends, Trinity Cunningham was on TV, and I'm like, going, what?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm the little Aussie from down under, and down under, and it's just it does my head in. But it's like Mike was saying, like the support, people reading your stuff, going, this is great. I got mine in early too, because that's just how I operate with. One of those, even as a kid, I was just like, oh, I've got to get my homework done so I can do whatever I want, just get it out of the way. It got some great feedback. I'll tell you, E.L. Montague, he is fantastic at giving feedback.
Yep.
So he didn't rip mine apart, but he's just like, this, I do this, not saying you have to, and I'm just going like, that's really good feedback.
Yeah.
Especially as the guy that's writing stuff that a lot of you Americans probably don't understand, so...
Yeah, I read yours. I was like, I don't know what this is, but you know what? I don't need to know for the story. It's great because, I am definitely in another world, and I love that.
Yeah, I don't even know what genre I can describe it, because it's like, I'd call it urban fantasy, but it's not set in an urban area. It's like rural Australia.
Rural fantasy. Rural fantasy.
Yeah.
You've started a new genre.
Yeah.
Australian
called a Western?
cryptids.
No, well, it's not, because it's like a monster hunt. So
yeah, Australian cryptids.
Mythical creatures.
That's pretty good. I like a good mythical creature.
So, Isaac, can I announce something that should paralyze everyone with fear who's in the anthology?
Yes, you can.
So, I've been pretty good friends with Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads. He of the 12,000 followers. And we were going back and forth, and we were going to do a live show. And he's like, I don't really do live shows. And I was like, you know what? I looked through the shows you do, and the ones that get the most eyeballs are when you do tier rankings. So he's going to read all the stories and tier rank them live on his show for our anthology. So
fantastic.
And I'm not telling everyone until now that everyone has theirs in. It's too late. You can't take it back. It's going.
I have to finish mine. When is this happening? When is this going to be done?
It'll be.
He's going to read version 1.
So I think we'll scheduled to be first week of September, so right smack dab in the middle of the Kickstarter.
Okay.
So, now Ro has to edit this, so, he has a much harder deadline.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's a surprise, everyone.
That's good. That's good.
It's going to be tier ranking, and I'm going to tell him if he gives mine better than a B, he's lying through his teeth. Because my story's fine, it's serviceable, but there are way better stories in this anthology than mine. But I also had other reasons for doing mine, so.
Okay, so he's done other tier rankings.
Yes.
What has he ranked?
So he and I, we really get along because we are both very good at DNFing. We DNF a lot.
Ooh.
Like we argue who has the higher DNF rate.
You're making this better and better.
But I mean, they're short stories, so I did ask him. It's like, when do you need them so you can do this? And he's like, I need them by August 1st. So he has to have them by August 1st. So whatever you got is going to Andrew then.
Whew. Okay.
The look on Isaac's face.
Okay. It'll be all right. I'll be fine. I'll be all right. Even it'll be good. I'll be fine.
And I almost want to go back to him and say, what would you say? Do a tier ranking, but have like a couple people there in the peanut gallery to like boo you if you do a bad or something. Like JCM Byrne would be great at that. Just giving him grief as he rates everything. I don't know if he'll go for it, but he's definitely going to judge us all. So there you go.
Oh boy. I might do a counter stream where I'm watching his stream and reacting live to his. Oh boy, wouldn't that be fun?
You should do that with people from the anthology, and have it like after his show. You should do that.
Oh boy. Well, everyone, like and subscribe to All Caps. Follow the anthology in the link below. Go to the Kickstarter and click save to be reminded when we go live on September 1st, correct?
September 1st.
Okay, I got that out of the way. So, when is this tier ranking happening? You said this is in September? Like during the Kickstarter?
During the Kickstarter, like the first week of the Kickstarter, like midpoint, thereabouts. So, he'll probably do it over Labor Day weekend, and then it'll go up a couple days later, is my guess. But I don't know.
So,
is that how we're going to decide which order the stories go in? From worst to best or best to worst?
I mean, I imagine
it's got to be worst to best.
There is going to be some weight put on the decision based on this tier ranking.
So the tier ranking will be, the listing will be done well before the tier ranking ever takes place. I'm sending him 34 different files and telling him, here you go. Oh, actually, he said to do it in an EPUB, so I will stitch them together in an EPUB and send it to him. So yeah, it'll be whatever when I pull the stories and put them there, it'll be whatever order. If you're really mean to me, then you're going to be after Jay's Australian Delight, their story, and be like, well, after Jay's, this one's, So I have it in for a few people, so I will try to sabotage them.
And once he's done that, we can do our own tier ranking of how much of the authors cried, like who cried the most.
Yes. Who was the loudest when their book came on screen, and how loud did they get depending on where it went? Oh boy, this is the kind of thing that I really, really like, and also the kind of thing I really, really dread.
You like it in the abstract, but when you're going to be judged,
fantastic! I'm being judged, and then, oh no,
just lower your expectations all the way down.
Bring it down.
Bring it down to Australia.
Bring it down to Australia in the lower A's. So as long as I clear C, I think I'll be all right. I think I'll be all right. That's a passing grade.
Yeah.
I think that people will be pleasantly surprised. Okay. But I don't know. Andrew has his own thoughts.
I hope he's not too nice, though. I hope that he has,
you don't have to worry about that. Trust me. Again, okay. He is the self-professed DNF king. He DNFs 30 to 40% of all the books he starts. I think I have him beat. I think I DNF more, but I'm an old cranky man, so he's still young and vibrant, so he has time.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm kind of excited to get dumped into the F tier, so I got something to talk about. I can have a nemesis, it works. It's good. It'll be okay.
You can put those 1-star ratings on your website. Book covers.
Yeah, exactly.
Boy. So this is another reason why it's important that everyone gets their artwork in, so they'll have something to put and not just have a rectangle that says, Isaac Anderson, because no art was submitted.
I'm working on stuff. I'm drawing some pictures. It's not done yet.
Yeah, I'm going to have a big frowny face, and I'm going to do it like a cover. And if you don't give me art, then it's going to be a frowny face with your name below it, and that's going to be your cover that we send to Andrew.
Okay. So
just the poop emoji.
Don't judge this by its cover, but this poop emoji is actually S tier. I'm surprised he did. I mean, I'm not surprised. He spent no time at all on the cover art. He spent everything on the words, and so therefore, poop emoji surprisingly is on S tier, which is very, very strange for the anthology.
And those authors who couldn't get under the 5,000 word limit, there might be some payback involved. Just saying.
Yeah. True. Wow.
I say that exciting. Mine's like at 4,900 and something, and I still have to rewrite it. So I'm probably gonna be one of those people over 5,000.
The changes I've made have been so not surgical, have been so sweeping that I think I'm going to be well below 5,000 now. Maybe not well below, maybe just at, because I was able to make about 1,000 words redundant by about with using like 60 words. I was able to do the work that the 1,000 did, and I don't think I lost any clarity either. I think I actually improved clarity. So those are the kind of things I'm working through right now. I'm thinking of different ways to present information that is fast and also entertaining. So that's my struggle right now.
So I forget who it was I edited, but they're like, I'm at 5,800 words and I can't get it down anymore. And I was like, give me a shot at it. I was like, okay, I cut 500 words and I want it to be nice, so I just cut 500 instead of, there's another 500 I could have gone, but then I'd start getting snarky. So,
yeah. Well, wow, that's exciting. Okay, I wanted to ask, what does he like? What was the last thing he put in S tier in one of his lists? Do we know?
I don't know, but if this should strike fear in your heart, when I saw him actually at Indiana Comic-Con, because he lives in Indianapolis, and I was like, hey, you should try this, you should try that. And I was like, have you read anything by Tim Wolfe? And he's like, I haven't. I was like, well, here, great story, you'll love this. And he like read like a page, goes, nope, just not connecting. No, I don't like this at all. It just gave me Tim Wolfe. I was like, oh my God, you didn't like Platinum Tinted Darkness? Oh my God. So I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, Tim is one of the best authors. We tried to have him in the anthology, but he balked. He had other things on his plate, so he couldn't. But so I don't know. It's kind of lately he's been reading a lot of Clive Cussler, which I gave him all kinds of crap for, and Stephen King, which I still detest him because I told everyone Stephen King has not written a good book ever in his life, and he's like, read The Green Mile, you'll like it. I'm like, I'm going to read it, prove you wrong. I was like, damn you, I like that book. So now there's one Stephen King book that is decent.
Yeah.
But
there's Stephen King and then there's Stephen King. So you have to get the right Stephen King, because they were not the same man over all the years at all. The amount of cocaine matters.
And in a
for
different
better or for worse,
I was in a different anthology that I was in, I wrote it didn't really have, it had a vague holiday theme. So I did kind of a Hanukkah story. And the person who reviewed it said about my story, it has a very Stephen King vibe to it if he was off drugs. And I was like, okay. I don't know if that's positive or not, because with the drugs,
I wouldn't take it that
wild, unique places. So I took it that he meant. I think he liked it. I think he meant it well. So, best case scenario here, where do you think you're going to get ranked?
I aim low, so I'm like bottom. He'll be like, "What is this? Don't understand it." Down the bottom.
I think yours is going to be so strange. I think you'll be surprised. I think he's going to say this is such a unique. It depends on the placement.
Strangely good.
I think if he read all of them by themselves, I think he would rank them in a certain way. But because he's being presented with them in a lineup, I think that's going to greatly affect his perception. So depending on what preceded you, that could this was so different from the past three. I loved it.
It is.
So
It's going to be like, what's this?
Unless you're first. If you're
Yes.
first, though, there might be a problem.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, if he doesn't like it, he's like, you know what, this was not for me. It did have X, Y, and Z, which you may like, but it didn't. That's not my cup. So he's very, if he's going to not like it, he's going to say, these are the attributes. They just don't work for me. So I mean, he's as nice as he can be, but he's also very, very honest.
Cool.
So, like I said, my short story. There's another series I want to write, but having 3 series that I have not finished, I refuse to start a 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my way around it. So this is the short story about the parents of my main character as they come to the new dwarven city. And then I'm like, I could write like 9 other short stories this time, this generation, and then I'll have all my background done. So when I write this series, I'll have all the background already written and codified. Plus I'll have a book I can make it because I have like 10 short stories to publish. Yeah. So I'm really trying to double or triple dip here with this. So I'm like, okay, mine is kind of forced because I knew it had to be dwarves. And because of the stupid prompt, it had to be a ring, which I had no intention of doing, but okay. I mean, my story's The Royal Cartographer is the title, so I really did not have a ring planned anywhere. I thought about like a compass, and he's drawing a circle, and we call it a ring. I was like, no. I'd have to explain a compass to, this generation, and that's going to take too many words.
Yeah. So Jesse, you said you're approaching sound, and I can never pronounce the word. Is it tinnitus?
Tinnitus.
I say tinnitus, but I don't think it matters. People are going to understand. It's the ringing you get after being exposed to loud sounds.
Right.
To clarify that. So yeah, however you want to say it, is soldiers, musicians, people that have been through any kind of explosion or anything like that, or just exposed, like even factory workers, like people that are in that environment all the time, they develop it. If you make bad decisions, blaring your music too loud in your car and you have sensitive ears, you can do it to yourself.
Yeah. In my main series, A Song of Bones, originally one of the characters had tinnitus, and it was kind of a metaphysical kind of thing that was happening. I ended up cutting it because it was just an extra thing for the reader to keep track of that I didn't think was needed yet. So that might come back in the story at some point. I think I've changed it to where it's a little bit simpler and less abstract than what it would have been. But I do like playing with sound. One of my first ideas for the anthology was for Ring. I was going to do, there's an alarm clock in the woods that goes off at a certain time and it rings. And a kid is happening by on his daily walk to school or something, or going somewhere, and he'll hear this alarm clock ringing in the woods. And whenever he goes to find it, he can't find it in time because it stops ringing. So that was my first kind of exploratory thing. But the sci-fi trees in space kind of thing, I think was a little bit, I've been wanting to dabble into sci-fi for quite a while. I've had outlines and ideas for a long time. And one of my first goes at writing a book was with a sci-fi story. And I ended up not pursuing that because I didn't think it was quite ready. I didn't quite know how to do the sci-fi thing. So now this is kind of a trial to see if I can, in fact, do a sci-fi kind of story. Because I don't want to approach it like the typical, and this might be a horrible idea, but I don't want to approach it like the typical sci-fi, where it's like very logical and it's very military sci-fi kind of thing. I want to approach it not quite like Star Wars, but more like if like Last Unicorn or Princess Bride just happened to be in space. And that's just for style, not necessarily for, theme and content. So I'm kind of approaching, sci-fi by way of fantasy, with it still remaining sci-fi. So what I mean by that is, like, Star Wars is fantasy because it deals with fantasy problems, right? So
Yeah.
princess is in a castle. That's the first movie.
Like
Whereas
space opera.
a good space opera. A good sci-fi has a sci-fi problem. Like Asimov was thinking ahead, like, okay, eventually we're going to get good enough with computers and stuff. We're going to have these things walking around called robots, and they're going to be close to us. So how do we deal with that as a species? So he was like looking ahead and seeing future problems and future, things that we've never had to deal with. And so good sci-fi, from my opinion, deals with those questions that we don't know how to deal with, or at least has a interesting, unique problem that would only fit in sci-fi. So I have my unique sci-fi quandary. I have a couple of them. I think 2, and I'm writing it in a way that feels more like it would be in fantasy, or maybe a little bit more Star Warsy. I don't know. It's a big experiment, and I feel like a short story is a perfect place to experiment. So, I hope people like it.
So Isaac,
I
sorry, I was just going to say, if you want to know sci-fi, like what you're kind of writing, you either want to avoid these because you'll feel pressure, or else read them because they are just so good. But Kanai by Dave Dobson, who's in our anthology, he won Spacebo with that story. I just finished it on audiobook. It's phenomenal. And then Wistful Ascending by J.C.M. Byrne, if you haven't read that by now, which everyone on Twitter has read that by now, I swear. But I mean, it's fantastic. And again, if it's going to wig you out, then don't listen to them until after you publish yours. If you want to, like, hey, let's go learn from the masters, then I would say try both of them, depending on your point of view. But both of those, highly recommend.
Excellent.
Sorry,
I'm always
Jesse, go
looking
ahead.
for good stuff. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I think there's some classics that actually fall into, and they might not be like true classics, but there's some really popular series that do fall into kind of what you're talking about. And I personally really love it. I would point you to Red Rising by Pierce Brown.
I bounced off Red Rising. I need to try it again.
Well, and whether you love it or you don't, but Red Rising is a science fantasy story. Yes, we are in a sci-fi setting, but it is absolutely a dark fantasy story. And the way Pierce writes is very dark fantasy. But you're still dealing with a sci-fi problem. You're dealing with human experimentation, class caste or class systems. You're dealing with all those things. And it's one of my favorite series personally. But I think there's definitely, once you find your style in that genre, I think there's definitely room for, like, people will absolutely enjoy the approach that you're taking.
Oh yeah, I mean, I needed to try Red Rising again because I bounced off Hyperion a couple of times before I finally get into it. So sometimes it just takes me a couple of goes to really get into something. But what I want to approach sci-fi, when I say by way of Last Unicorn, so Last Unicorn is so beautifully written, but it's simply written too. And it has this melancholy kind of hope to it. So I don't really want to get into, because everyone's writing dark, everyone's writing, really big epics, massive trilogies.
I'm not.
There you go. Good. So, and not to knock that stuff. That stuff is fun. That stuff works. I don't see very much of, and maybe I just haven't looked around enough, but I haven't seen very much like hopeful sci-fi, that's also beautiful, and isn't a massive commitment. Something that's, small, like Ancora. Like Proxima Station. So there is stuff out there, people. If with those with eyes to see, you'll find it. Well, cool. One thing I like to do in these shows so far is I like to go around. Do you guys have favorite short stories?
In the anthology or just overall?
No, just in general, like over your life that you've read. Or I guess another question would be if, like, what inspired the story you're working on right now? Like, do you have inspirations you're drawing from?
I can answer that one because I didn't start reading until I was properly until I was 27. So first 27 years of my life, only 2 books I ever read were Jurassic Park and the next Jurassic Park, and that was it. So I can't speak to things from my childhood unless I'll picture books and stuff like that. But like me, I want to do stuff differently. Think outside the box. And so my short story is like a classic monster hunt. And I was figuring, okay, well, could I do supernatural set in Australia? Like two brothers going on a hunt. And I just decided to turn one of those brothers into a dingo. So it was like a guy and his dingo monster hunting. So that was some of the inspiration. But I just, again, like you said, this is an experiment. I want to tackle something different. I could not, take the opportunity to weed out some Americans. So that's basically my approach.
Very cool. Very cool.
So
Jesse,
I
how
will
about
tell
you?
you. Go
Mike,
ahead.
yes.
No. Jesse can go ahead. I'll give you more time to think and try to sound
Well,
smart.
Jesse, are you ready to answer?
Yeah, I can give you answers to both. So for one of my favorite short stories ever, it's by Patrick M. Tracy, and it's called Worth the Scars of Dying. And it was in Noir Fatale from Bain Books. And it was all about like the femme fatale, but done cross genre, not just in detective stories. And it is a extremely action heavy Legends and Lattes, but with John Wick coming out of retirement. But instead of being John Wick being an assassin, John Wick is a really nasty necromancer. He's like a really powerful demonic style necromancer. And this beautiful woman walks in to his coffee shop that he's retired to run. And this other person charges in and starts attacking her in his shop, and he jumps into her aid. I won't spoil it from there because I absolutely love this story, but it's got one of the coolest necromancers I've ever seen as far as like the spells and capabilities. The twist at the end's beautiful. I love that story. For my story, the inspiration's there. I really like writing action realism, but I don't want to lose the fun aspect of it. So if you look at like Nelson DeMille or Jack Carr, you're going to get a lot of that same feel, but with a little bit more humor. I have 3 male main characters who are all kind of in a squad together. They've all worked together before. They're all really close friends, and they're all hitmen. And they're all like they jab at each other about like, hey man, try not to fall in love with this chick this time, and like dude, what are you doing? Keep your gun up, or they pick at each other constantly. There's lots of dark jokes. But James, like we were talking about the tinnitus thing, the story opens up with James talking about a very real life thing. That is when you're lethally focused, when you're shooting for real. This could be hunting or a gunfight or whatever, and you pull the trigger with no ear pro, it does not ring your ears the same as if you were just doing target practice. There's something about your mind and the ear pressure, like the way your body reacts to like lethal focus, that it totally changes how long that terrible ringing in your ears lasts. And then it, of course, moves into jokes and action and everything like that. So I love trying to channel that without losing the kind of action movie fun in a way.
Okay. Very cool.
So I will tell you, I did not read a lot of short stories. I've always liked, if I'm going to get a story and be invested, I want a novel. Only to a certain length, because I don't read over 500 pages. So but I want more meat on the bone. So I've not really read a lot. So while everyone else was answering, I was going through the stories in our anthology that I've read, and there are 3 that are absolutely stand out that I think are phenomenal. I've not read yours, Isaac. I've not read yours, Jesse. But J.A.'s Ring Around the Billabong is absolutely one of my 3 favorites. It is just awesome. And if Andrew gives that anything less than an A, there will be words. I mean, it should be S tier, guaranteed. That's why I want to be live so that I can give him all kinds of grief, because that's what I do with Andrew. I will tell you, Ring of the Lich King by J.C.M. Byrne So I've read Wistful Ascending, which is great. Now he's doing fantasy. I was like, okay, let's see what he does. And his ending, the way he ends it, I was like, oh my god, this is masterful, because you have that twist at the end that you're not expecting. And then the third one is absolutely, it's by Michael Vadney, Grim Arithmetic, and I mean, we've all seen Michael on Twitter. I mean, he's a genius at social media. And he kept pumping his book and going on and on. I was like, okay, yeah, he's one of the young people. He knows social media. It's his first book. How good can it be? And I read Grim Arithmetic, and I was like, well, I just bought Crownfall, because if you can write a short story this good, I need to read the whole novel. So Grim Arithmetic by Michael Vadney, Ring of the Lich King by JCM, and Ring Around the Billabong by JA are my absolute top 3. I've read 10 or 12.
Awesome.
There's like 34, so I still have like 20 to go. So I hope to have a few more favorites that I can really, really, argue with Andrew if need be about. But those 3 are just head and shoulders above the rest. I will tell you there are a couple that I just really don't like, because I am a DNF person. But I will not say who they are, because writing is hard enough.
Is it because it's over 500
Yes.
pages? Nothing over 500 words.
That I had not thought of that, but
Well,
And I
now
wait
not only do we get to worry about getting ranked live, but we also get to worry about which one of us Mike hates.
Well, it's not you, Jesse, or Isaac, at least not yet, because I haven't read your stuff yet. I need to. I desperately need to, but I just not gotten
Not
there.
yet.
And there's still time for me to get ranked slower.
Maybe we can aspire to become hated by Mike. That's something we can aspire to achieve.
I am waiting for someone to send me their short story. Look, I put one word on every page. It's 513 pages, Mike. I know you'll hate it. I'm just waiting for someone to do that, because that is how petty I would be. I would do that in a heartbeat. And I'm like, I'm just waiting. Somebody's going to do that. And I'm just going to say, bravo, you stole my idea. So,
Well,
you're in the F tier.
If Ro's editing, he can forcefully make people's short stories end like The Sopranos. Just cut off the 500.
That's true.
Middle of the sentence.
That's true.
Just cut off mid-sentence.
He raised the gun and took aim.
Well, I mean, I would
and then end.
love what I don't know if people have time for this, but I have version 1 of my story, which I do like a lot, and then I have version 2 of my story that I like for different reasons. So I would love to have people read both and just get their feedback on, because I'm doing different things in each one. They have the same ideas, but their execution is very different. So I don't know. If you do read my story as it is right now, I've made a lot.
You've got 3 to choose from, Mike.
So yes.
Well, it could be worse. It could be E.O. Montague, who wrote 4 stories for the anthology.
Yes. He was a workhorse.
Well, the first one he wrote was 15,000 words, and we're like, what are you doing? It has to be under 5,000. He's like, oh, you all are missing out, because that's exceptional story. And I was like, well, write something under 5,000. So then he wrote one that was very graphic. And we're like, okay, we're looking at PG-13. I don't know what your PG-13 is, but so then he did a third one, and then put out a call for it. Does anyone want to write romance? So then he wrote a romance. So there are 4 stories. It's up to EL which of the final 2 is going to go in there. But yeah, the man wrote 4 stories. He's read everyone's story and given feedback. Sometimes multiple
his
times.
Feedback for me was phenomenal.
I will tell you, though, it was funny when I wrote this book, because I get to show it again. I sent it to EL, and it's silly sci-fi. I mean, it's absolutely silly. It's almost cozy. And I sent it to EL, and he's like, this is not reasonable. You have 5 alien species. You need to have war. You need to have people shooting each other. You need to have interspecies sex. And I was like, there's no sex. There's no violence, EL. And I think I just stunned him into silence, because he's like, does not compute. So
EL is a very realistic writer.
So definitely for adults. Now his covers, on the other
Yes,
hand,
definitely so.
I got some critique on, but his
Yeah.
stories are for adults.
Yeah.
His covers make it look more like they're for kids.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I believe I have EL scheduled for next week's show. If that works for EL, I haven't told him yet I've scheduled him for this, but we'll see if he's able to make it or not.
Oh, I'm his agent. He'll make it.
Okay, cool. Well, anything else? We're kind of approaching an hour here. Anything else you guys like to shout out before we call it a night?
Support the anthology. Support the Kickstarter. There's a little QR code right up there.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a QR code right here. You could scan it with your phone if you're a phone scanning kind of person. If you're a button clicking person or a copy paste person, in the description of this video, you'll find many things to copy and paste. You'll find the link to the Kickstarter itself. You'll find Mike Mollman's Substack. You'll find J.A. Bryden's website, and you'll find Jesse James' website. All the stuff is down there. And I don't have anything else. That's it. So like and subscribe to this video. It has been a blast to have you guys on. Any closing remarks you have? Favorite color?
So right now we have
favorite flavor
87 people who are signed up to be notified about the Kickstarter. So would love to get that over 100. When Ro and I were talking, he's like,
yes,
yeah, we're going to get like 15. I was like, well, we got 34 authors. We should at least get 34. And he's like, okay, well, and then we got up to like 35 and 40. And he's like, well, that's just 6 other people. And then it just kept getting bigger. And we're like, you know what? We actually have people who are interested in this. So, yeah, it's interesting to see where we can get. Hopefully it gets over 100. Hopefully with the throng of people watching your show live tonight that, they all sign up and we're over 100 after the show.
All 2.
Excellent.
I find I get most of my views afterward when I make the little shorts. Yeah. So I was working on one today. I hope to have 3 more made tomorrow is my plan, just to get through them. I like to have like fun little edits and clips in there, not just people talking. And I want to make it fun and entertaining. So it takes me a little bit of time to,
I know the feeling. But, I do that with my podcast too. It's like we get low views on the full episodes, and then you put them on Instagram, put the little thing, and then you get hundreds of views.
Yeah. Oh yeah, people love those. So I kind of view these live shows as basically not fodder, but as a growing bed for
sound bites
and topics. So sound bites are very good. I like.
So I'm going to throw down the gauntlet and tell you that that's Ro's job. And if you've seen, I think we've had a total of 2 shorts in 3 years now. So Ro, what are you doing, dude? Come on. So totally going to throw him out, run the bus over him, put it in reverse, and run over him again. The yellow school bus Europeans think is amazing.
Budget is, but I'm more than willing to make shorts if you want shorts.
Now
I do declare I'm able to make the shorts.
Definitely make that definitely make that a soundbite, but then have shorts, like someone with shorts.
Yeah, marching along.
Yep, absolutely.
There's too many cats.
I know where to get. I know where to get all the corniest stock photos imaginable, and I literally have a folder of this one guy that I have become enamored with,
Steve?
Who stands in the most unique ways, and he has the most amazing shorts. His shorts are just so good, and his legs are so white, and he has all these poses. He's like squatting and looking at the camera. He's laying down and looking at the camera in just a white space.
You are creating it. You are creating a short right now without even realizing it.
I am. And then I can say Jack Sparrow is stupid. No, Jack Sparrow is stupid. No, Jack Sparrow he's stupid. But he could be very good, but he's stupid. But yeah.
Wonderful.
Follow the Kickstarter. Follow everyone here. And thank you for watching. And good night.